Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much for joining us here on Apex Racing TV. We are so excited to bring you another season of the Colorado Karting Tour iRacing Winter Series. Starting off with a non-points round here at Laguna Seca. I am Tyler Newitt. I will be joined in the commentary booth by Jonathan Grabowski, who is also doing all the essential operating the cameras, running production, doing a whole lot more than me. But Jonathan, happy to have you here. We've got a new season. We mentioned we had the Colorado Karting Tour on Apex Racing TV with their last season. And the format is the same, but the cars are different. We've got GT4 cars this time around for the karters and their friends and family. But still a 15-minute heat race followed by a 30-minute feature race. And the field is rolling. We've already had qualifying. Lawrence Zavadil, somebody new to the championship, put it on pole, followed by Michael Keltner with some familiar names, Rob Hubrex, Kenny Schmid in the chasing pack, but we are about to go green. Zavadil leading them down the front stretch, and he is off. So with the field still working their way around the final corner, Zavadil is launched towards the Andretti hairpin for the first time here at Laguna Seca. And we are away. There's some dicing back in the pack there, but everyone keeping it nice and orderly. So far, so good. We've got one car off. That is Mark Malsum, and he's going to smack the wall there with that McLaren. So, Jonathan, obviously your first time covering the series here with us, but we've got different cars for the first time with the Colorado Karting Tour. Last time it was the F3, everybody in the same sort of car. This time we got the GT4. It should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be really exciting. Glad to join you this for round 0, Tyler. Really fun. Got to watch last season, see what was going on. Yeah, we're going from Formula cars all the way now down to two GT4 cars. So a little bit of everything with the Porsche, the McLaren, and the BMW. We'll see which one. It seems like everyone kind of prefers the Porsche and the McLaren, with a few guys running the Beamer. It'll be interesting to see, what takes place.
Yeah, we saw some trouble there. I think that was turn 4. Shea Wright has reset to the pit lane. Michael Genevics has also reset. Brian Bruzzi, who qualified in the top 5, I'm showing is not on the track. Yeah. So that's a big story. Brian was part of the series last time around and pretty quick, but not so at the moment. At the front, though, it's a familiar name chasing down Lauren Savadil, Rob Hubrecht, who pretty much dominated the championship last time around in that McLaren, chasing the Porsche of Savadil, trying to pick up where he left off last season, winning just about everything and anything, at least when it came to the road courses. Wasn't quite as successful on the ovals, but won the vast majority of the road course races. So this is an exciting series for those of you who weren't able to tune in for last season with the Colorado Karting Tour. These are all real-life kart racers, or former kart racers, or friends and family thereof, I believe. So we've got lots of people from the Colorado area here on iRacing. We've got a great turnout. Excited to see a lot of new names with this year. Oh, that's a car in the wall back there. Was that? I see Kenny Schmid is falling down the order. Cadence Presley going down the order. So Kenny Schmid was definitely off. Cadence Presley, I think,
we'll take a look at that.
Had a harder hit.
Kenny.
So we've got a replay. I think, yeah, it's easily done losing it. You just take a little bit too much curb there. Kenny clattered the wall pretty hard. And that's likely going to cause some lasting damage to that Porsche. Didn't see what happened to Cadence Presley, though. There he is now, going slowly. This is the BMW. Mike James tries to work his way around. It's fastest lap of the race, though, for Lauren Savadil up at the front of the field. A couple tenths up on Rob Hubrecht that last time around. I was saying, Jonathan, earlier, I do some GT4 racing on iRacing. Pretty well-balanced class. The one advantage I've seen is the Porsche tends to be a little bit kinder to its tires than the McLaren or the BMW, but these races are rather short. I don't know that we're going to see that over the course of 15 or 30 minutes in these races, so should be a pretty straight fight. Different kind of style of driving between the cars. The Porsche kind of drives more traditionally, as you would expect. I find the McLaren drives a lot like a front-wheel drive car.
Really?
Very understeery. It takes a little bit to get it pointed in, but yeah, it's an interesting kind of sensation driving the McLaren. Of course, the BMW is just kind of brute force. A lot of power to make up for the relative size of the car. As we saw somebody else going off there, I'm not sure who that was. We're right on board now with Zach Peterson. I think it might have been Brock Mays who we saw off in the background. But
yeah,
Peterson.
Yeah, everybody's kind of finding their legs. It seems like these first few laps had a few guys jump up and down the tower, a few incidents, but it's early, it's round 0. Guys are just kind of feeling their way, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, it was interesting last season to watch. We saw a lot of drivers as, ooh, that's somebody going rather wide back there. That might have been Brock Mays once again. Last season, we saw a lot of varying skill and experience levels. Lots of drivers who had done a lot of real-world karting and racing, but hadn't done a ton in the iRacing world. Ooh, is there some contact there? That is Mays getting into the right rear, or yeah, the right rear of Chalman in the McLaren, but both continue on. That's a bit fortunate for them. The hit like that can definitely damage the suspension if the iRacing arithmetic figures that it should. These cars do have the newer damage model that allows breaking of suspension and body parts. It actually makes these cars pretty robust to general hits. You see Kenny Schmid continuing on there. He hit the wall pretty well, but as long as everything stays in one piece as far as the suspension is concerned, they tend to continue on. But Schmid doing well in 7th. He was another one of the front runners in the championship last season, but looks like he's got some competition this year, John.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have some new names. We have some, you know, some familiar names to those that watched the series last time around, like Rob Hubrex, and even though he's not on the grid right now, Brian Bruzy, some really fast guys that, you know, they're quite capable of winning. So, you know, it's up for grabs this season for sure.
Yeah, of course, this is a non-points round. We call it round 0. So just pride on the line tonight, but really a chance for the drivers to get a feel for the series, see if it's something they want to keep doing. So good to see such a high turnout. You'd expect, hopefully, that carries on to the points-paying races. And we've got a pretty exciting schedule for you here at the Colorado Karting Tour Winter Week. I just had it up and I lost it. Let me pull it up again. So after this non-points race is at Laguna Seca. As we see Walker catching a little bit of dirt there. We've got the first points-paying round at Road Atlanta, which is going to be one of the endurance races. So starting them out with an endurance race. We had a couple last season spread throughout, but that is throwing them right to the fire with a 45-minute race at Road Atlanta. Then we're going to see Lime Rock. That was a little ambitious on the brakes from Rob Holubar, another returning driver. Gave a little shove to Walker, and because of that, Walker ended up overshooting the corkscrew. He'll get a slowdown penalty for that, and I think Rob Holubar will continue on rather unscathed. So just a little nudge at the top of the hill. It's easily done. It's such a weird braking zone, isn't it? You're not coming in straight. Nobody's coming in at the same angle. So a little unclean, but everyone continues on. Not too much worse for wear.
Yeah, luckily we're in the GT4 cars, so you know these cars can take a little bit of looking compared to the Formula cars last season. But yeah, as you said, going up to the corkscrew, as you said, it's not straight. It's a little awkward. Everybody's going at a different rate. Everybody's trying to find their braking point, and then you have that drop that everybody's preparing for as well. So.
Oh, Walker trying to make some ground back up. Really sent it in there on green, but not able to make the pass complete. That's one of those situations I wouldn't really want to be in the McLaren, to be honest, because it just wants to pitch you out through the middle of the corner now. Herring having a look into turn 4. Ooh, that looked like there was a chance for some contact there, but everyone comes out cleanly. Was a little defensive maneuver. You don't want to be too wide through here, and they all get it sorted, which is good. The rest of the schedule after Lime Rock, we go to Watkins Glen. We go to the Daytona Road Course. That's going to be a 1-hour race. So the other one of the Enduro, or sorry, another one. We're getting 3 Enduros this season. Then they go to VIR, which is a really underrated track here on iRacing, in my opinion. Barber, another really underrated track. Well, probably my favorite track on the service, if we're being honest. And then closing out the season at Sebring with a 1-hour Enduro. So looking forward to that, to bringing you all the action for Colorado Karting Tour here on Apex Racing TV. As we see our race leader, Zabadil, has really stretched that one out over Rob Hubrecht, up to 3 seconds now. So really putting the hammer down in that Porsche, isn't he?
Yeah, Zabdil's, I was like, let's take a look at Zabdil. He is really starting to check out here. You know, last time around, the 128.82, Rob Hubrecht, the 129.43. So Zabdil last time by was the only guy in the 128. So he is really hustling that Porsche.
That is a mighty quick lap time around here. As we see 3rd place, Michael Keltner. Haven't really talked about Michael. He's a new driver to the series. Qualified in 2nd, actually. Got taken off the line by Rob Hubrecht, but has done well, hanging on to 3rd place and not losing touch with Rob Hubrecht. And same, another new driver in behind them, Ezra Kelderman. So 3 McLaren's there in a line hanging on. Everybody mostly doing the same pace in this group, but they are pulling away from Suraj Pradhan in 5th place. So good pace there for these guys.
We won't be missing Kelderman's car on the screen, that's for sure.
No, that is a livery that stands out, makes you notice it for sure. Kelderman, like we said, another of the new drivers to the series, so good to see some fresh faces at the front. Somebody to bring the challenge to Rob Hubrecht. Certainly he was a little bit untouchable last season, so but it is still Zavadil out front as we watch some battles further back in the field here. Who is that exiting the pit lane? I think that is potentially. We've got one of the Porsches. We've had a number.
So that's the 20 car, so that would be
Rob. That is Rob Hotlubar. That's right. He was involved. I guess he did pick up some damage with that contact with Walker. So Rob now back out on track. We've had a number of drivers make their way through the pit lane early on here. Obviously, 30 drivers around Laguna Seca, there's going to be some contact. It's just kind of an inevitability, excuse me. Around here, there's going to be some incidents, some drivers needing to come through pit lane. We haven't had too many drivers disconnect. I saw that Cadence Presley is not continuing on. And Austin Chalman and Mark Sherman are both still sitting in the pit lane, have been for a while. But Brian Bruzzi, who
he's out there,
did not take the grid, has made it out on track. So it must have been some sort of technical issue or something that prevented Bruzzi from taking to the grid. He's 3 laps down, or 2 laps down rather, to the race leader, but not fortunately still in the race. And hopefully we'll see him. I imagine he'll be moving his way forward in race number 2, putting on a show there. He was quick in practice, quick in qualifying, obviously qualified in the top 5, just didn't make it to the grid. So that'll be fun to keep our eye on in the feature race, Brian Bruzzi.
Yeah, Bruzzi's laying down some fairly fast laps compared to everyone else around him right now. Last time by with a 130, everyone else ahead of him is kind of 137s, depending on what's going on, 131s. We'll mix everything, but Bruzzi is clearly really fast, and we'll see what happens in the feature race.
Yeah, for sure. It's very interesting, you know, talking about and kind of looking towards the front of the field as we see this battle continuing between Green and Walker. All these drivers have some... Oh, that is... To bring that back in is mighty impressive. Green did a masterful job. I think there was a car spinning behind them as well. Somebody followed him off. It wasn't Walker. I think it was one of the other McLarens potentially. But we, you know, we talked about it some with the drivers themselves last season. There's a variety of experiences, both in terms of sim racing and real racing. Among these drivers, they're all connected to the Colorado Karting Tour in some way or another, but a lot of them do some other racing. I know there's some drivers who've given us their information who do historic racing. Lawrence Zavadil, who's leading this race, does Spec Miatas and did some Porsche GT3 Cup racing, so that's very cool. We know Kenny Schmid told us last season he did some sports car SCCA type racing, and I believe I heard him saying, or somebody saying before the start of this, that he actually has driven that Porsche GT4 car in real life. So certainly seems to be translating well. We know Kenny was quick in iRacing from last season, but obviously doesn't hurt to drive the car that you drive in real life, as we're side by side.
Look at this battle.
Turn number 3. That is 3 wide, as that is, sorry, that's Green, Peterson, and Botnick going at it. They're still 3 wide. That's not a corner you want to go 3 wide through, but they somehow make it work without hitting each other. Aaron Botnick, Tyler Green, Zach Peterson doing a tremendous job. You don't want to be side by side through here either, especially with the trouble we've seen for Green. And he keeps it together. Wow, that was impressive.
Botnick was really, really brave right there.
They all really were. I mean, they were mixing and matching. Botnick kind of started that battle in front, ended up kind of in the middle, and now is back in front again. So Really a lot of back and forth there. There's Zavadil. He continues to stretch that lead up to 5 seconds now. Believe he is on the white flag lap here. Certainly must be if we've crossed the time barrier here. But one more lap to go for Zavadil. As we see this battle continue, I think this is going to go right down to the wire. With 1 lap remaining now, it is Peterson's turn to send it on green. As double apex Andretti hairpin is a tricky corner, but gets the job done, does Peterson. Relegates green back to 12th place.
Watch Zavadil exit the corkscrew with a few more turns to go, and will take the heat race win.
Yeah, he has really separated himself from the field so far today, and kind of get the feeling you did with Rob Brex last season. You know, can anyone catch him? I'm sure with the quality and the amount of drivers we have here, there will be some fights throughout the season, but at the moment, Lawrence Zavadil is untouchable at Laguna Seca. There is the aforementioned reigning champion, Rob Hubrecht.
Oh, no!
Oh, and they've come to blows. Oh, that battle that had progressed so cleanly through the closing stages of this race. It was Peterson and Botnick who came together. I didn't see who was the instigator there, but Botnick certainly got the worst of it. I think Peterson might have slowed to try and give the position back, but Botnick is so far off that that would have been tremendously costly. So Peterson continues on. Get a replay here from the back of Peterson. So Peterson, there was a little bit of solid air, as my friend likes to say there, but the little bit of space between the cars, but it's just such an oddly shaped braking zone. We were talking about it before, that, you know, neither of the drivers were really doing anything particularly wrong.
No.
They just didn't have enough space to go through together, and so unfortunately for Botnick, he's going to end up the worst of it, down in, I think, 19th place. The first car scored 1 lap down, but Roman Gevorkian comes across the line, just waiting on a couple of drivers, but we'll get the results to you, and then we've got some excitement coming your way with an interview with one of the sponsors from the series, that being Eric Gunderson from Point Karting. So as soon as we get those results up, we'll get them to you, and then we will bring you a conversation with Eric Gunderson.
Here come the reel. Show those results.
And Lawrence Zavadil is your race winner ahead of Rob Hubrecht by over 5 seconds. Michael Keltner brings it home in 3rd, Ezra Kelderman in 4th, Suraj Pradhan in 5th, Kenny Schmid in 6th, Jeremy Davis in 7th, Brandon Walker in 8th, Michael Herring 9th, Tyler Green rounds out your top 10. Behind them, Daniel Lopez, Brock Mays, Zach Peterson, Mike James, Armand Gevorkian is your top 15. Mike Weber, Dustin Wayman, Tracy Scott are the top 18. Then it's Aaron Botnick, who we saw have that last lap incident, Mark Malsa, Corey Ross, Mark Sherman, Austin Chalman, Brian Bruzzi, Michael Janevics, John Schneibel, Rob Holubar, and Shay Wright, rounding out your field. So, sorry, Cadence Presley and Ben Jolly, who did not take the start. So let us grab, for your listening pleasure, Eric Gunderson from Point Karting. Are you with us? Well, we've got Eric in the booth. We'll see if he just having some trouble talking to us. But Eric, as soon as you're here, let us know. But in the meantime, John, that was some pretty exciting racing we got there.
Yeah, great way to start the series. You know, we had some really exciting racing all around. A lot of guys, sounds like they were trying to kind of feel their way, you know, these GT4 cars. But some nice battles up and down the timing tower. A lot of excitement, and we get to double it this time around. We get to go to the 30-minute feature and a little more drama. But the question is, can Zavadil, he was super dominant that first race. Can anyone, you know, just keep up with him?
Well, I think it'll take a good start from someone like Rob Hubrecht, who will be starting in 2nd place in race number 2, to get a good start and get him off the line to have any chance. But Eric, are you with us now? Still having some technical difficulties, unfortunately, with Eric Gunderson from Point Karting, but do want to mention shout out to Point Karting for helping bring this to the viewers, in addition to all the fine folks at Colorado Karting Tour. But we'll keep an eye on warm-up, and hopefully we can get Eric in here and talking with us at some point shortly. So we keep an eye on the 22 car. That is Mike Weber. Of course, last season we saw both Mike and Vaughn Weber racing, the father-son duo, and we were never really sure who was in the car. I assume
was just
it's
supposed
Mike
to say,
Weber
do we know which
for
Weber
race
it
number
is?
1, but could very well be Vaughn. Remains to be seen. I'm sure they will let us know as they go a little wide there. But there's Rob Holubar. Obviously had some trouble in race number 1, but hopefully can put it together for race number 2. Very interesting to see how Brian Bruzzi does after obviously missing the start in race number 1. We know he's here now, but he'll be starting towards the back of the grid in 24th. So that'll be a long march to the front. He can manage it from 24th, but a few times rolling in for practice, none super competitive, but Armand Gevorkian puts in a 30.5 to go quickest at the moment.
Yeah, Gevorkian so far. Only 4 drivers have taken times right now, but there are a bunch of guys on the track. Ezra Keldman's out there, Walker Scott, Sherman, Hubrex, Kenny Schmid. I'm expecting to see. Let's see what Kenny Schmid does. This time he had a tough heat race, and can he bounce back?
Yep. Sorry, just trying to get things sorted with Eric Gunderson here. Hopefully we can bring you a conversation. Of course, Eric, I think, is racing. I think he was in my races. I thought I saw him in there, but I could be wrong.
So I'm gonna drag him in. Eric, are you there?
Eric, are you with us?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened.
No, that's all right. We're going to be a little short on time, but we've got a little bit of a pace lap, hopefully, to have a chat with you. And of course, I'm sure if we can get it sorted now, we can have you in once again next week between the races. But Eric, how's it going?
It's good. I'm really excited to see the volume of the turnout here. We've got a really big car count, and we've got a lot of new people joining in the series, and that's super, super exciting. So I'm really happy to see a lot of people across Colorado and across a few disciplines of racing, as well as a wealth of different racing experiences and backgrounds and acumen, participating in this series. It's really, really exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I was a part of the broadcast last season, so it's good to see such an awesome turnout here. And obviously, Point Karting was involved to some extent last season. Good to see you guys back supporting the series once again this season. So tell us a little bit about Point Karting and what you do.
Sure. So we're a high-performance kart racing shop. We also have a fully comprehensive online parts store, and we serve racers nationwide, in racing go-karts, and we do trackside support, supporting racers at the Colorado Karting Tour. Many of our customers are participating in the race today, so we wanted to give back to the community and also participate, in the virtual realm, because racing is not just for the physical world anymore. Obviously, we have these great sim communities and this sim environment that we can come in and compete in during the off season for the real Colorado Karting Tour.
I couldn't agree with you more as far as the racing not being just in the real world anymore. Eric, we're going to call the start of the race, but hang tight, and we will talk to you some more once things settle down after the start.
Sounds great. Have fun, guys.
And we are green here for the feature race. They're already 4 wide back in the pack. I didn't see who that was in the kind of Dayglow BMW there, but I think it might have been Jeremy Davis making a bold move at the start. Jeremy, obviously a friend of the broadcast here. He helps to be the go-between for the Colorado Karting Tour and us here at Apex Racing TV. Does a really great job. So always like to see Jeremy doing well. He really came on strong towards the end of last season. Oh, there's some contact though. Who was that? It was Green, I believe, in the McLaren who gathers it back up, but the BMW of Armand Gevorkian, that's who it was who went spinning off. I think it was Armand who made it 4 wide at the beginning. And he has now lost the car. Doesn't look to have any suspension damage, I don't think. There's another McLaren off there. That is Suraj Pradhan. So Suraj, who had a great race 1, finished in the top 5. Not going to do so in this feature race without a late. Oh, and now that's a lockup on the brake.
Oh no!
From the McLaren of Zach Peterson. So it's all going on here at the start of race number 2. Zach Peterson going for a spin there, trying to get it gathered back. Yeah, let's get a replay first of what happened to Gevorkian. So he was side by side with Peterson, actually. Peterson's up over the curb, then they come together. Yeah, Green just an innocent bystander there. There was just there's a McLaren off in the background as well. And that might be Brian Bruzzi who's off in the background because he has reset to the pit lane. So we were hyping up Brian's charge from the back because we know he's quick, but he hasn't finished lap 1. So a lot of chaos early on. Oh, caught him already in the gravel.
Yeah, he was the one in the back.
It was Brian in the background there. So potentially got a helping hand. Looks like he's got some broken suspension because he could not get out of the grass. Now Peterson, is this live, John?
This is live.
So Peterson off once again. I think he's trying to make his way to pit lane. He might have some pretty serious damage there.
But all normal systems have resumed out front, with Lawrence Zavadil is currently in the lead, Keltner in 2nd, and Rob Hubrechts in 3rd.
Yeah, so Keltner must have jumped Hubrechts somewhere early on there. He is up to 2nd place after starting in 3rd. Rob obviously started in 2nd. Now Rob putting some pressure on him, though, into the corkscrew there. The 2 McLarens going at it. But they dive down the corkscrew clean and green. We've still got Eric Gunderson from Point Karting in the booth. You still with us, Eric? I should ask first.
Yeah, I am.
Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the karting scene is like in Colorado? What all these guys are involved in.
Yeah, well, the karting scene in Colorado is growing over time. You know, the Colorado Karting Tour is the premier kart racing series in Colorado, and you know, with us expanding to support virtual racing as well, we're doing our best to reach out to racers across Colorado in a variety of motorsports disciplines, not just in karting. But there's several tracks all throughout Colorado, and as a series we go to all the different ones, and it's, you know, a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun and a lot of track time. It's probably the most affordable track time short of maybe iRacing, to get out and do, you know, real world motorsports competition, wheel to wheel with other people.
Yeah, that sounds quite exciting. I'm just a little out of reach of the Colorado racing scene here in Idaho, but you know, I'm sure for those located in Colorado, it's, we've got some contact on track. I'm seeing Mays and I'm seeing Davis dropping down the order. That's Mays in the Porsche there. And I believe Jeremy Davis was also involved in that one, as they are both falling fast. You can see Davis still facing the wrong way in the background there. Let's see what happens here. Oh, there was a 3rd car involved there. Yeah, Jeremy just, I think, missed the braking point a little bit and sent it up the inside of Mays in the Porsche. And unfortunately, that will be the end of both of their races, at least as far as the competition is concerned. It was Herring in behind there, but he did not get involved in that one. So all good for him. He continues on in 8th place. That was a pretty high up battle inside the top 10. So a shame for both of those drivers. Now, Eric, are you a racer yourself, real, virtual, or both?
I've done both. Definitely a lot more experience in the real world. You know, in general, right now, you know, my primary focus is growing Point Karting and continuing to support our racers. So I, you know, drive a lot on track days and do race occasionally. I have a race coming up that I'm participating in, but for the most part, you know, I've had experience in karting as well as other forms of race cars, and I competed in the very first season of the iRacing League, and since then just been enjoying watching the streams. but it looks like everyone's mixing it up and having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it certainly does. I'm itching to get involved. I do some GT4 racing on iRacing, so this is whetting my appetite, especially Laguna Seca. I really oh, that was a big knock in the back. That was the McLaren of Scott going for a spin off the nose of the Porsche. I think that was Mike Weber, but I could be mistaken.
That was. Yep.
Yes, it was. So Weber, yeah, he's got
Rothman's livery.
Yes, and the left side mirror flapping around, the key indicator of contact there. So Scott continuing to drop through the order. I expect we'll see him in pit lane after that one. That was a pretty hard hit. Eric, before we let you go, I've been led to believe that you might potentially have something you'd like to announce to the listeners.
Yeah, we've got a really exciting prize package for this series. You know, at the end of the year, one of our goals with CKT, as well as of course at Point Karting, is to get people activated and involved in the sport of karting. So we're offering a series of prizes to the top 3 finishers in the series points championship for non-current active kart racers with CKT. So the highest points finisher, regardless if they have motorsports experience or not, will get a free race as well as a practice day with our tri-karting program at Point Karting to take place in a real actual kart racing event. And then second and third will get a tri-karting day experience as well. So we're super excited to bring that to the competitors here and to provide those opportunities for people to transition from the virtual world to real world competition with the Colorado Karting Tour.
Well, that is absolutely tremendous, Eric, and I love to hear any way that people are bridging the gap between the virtual world and the real world as far as racing is concerned, and that is just an awesome prize pack for all of these racers. I hope that that people take you up on it. I hope that whoever wins the championship, whoever finishes towards the front of the championship can appreciate those awesome prizes. But thank you so much for joining us, Eric. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I definitely want to thank the board of directors at the Colorado Karting Tour for stepping up and being supportive of this venture that we're doing here with the iRacing League. If anyone's curious about kart racing, check out the Colorado Karting Tour, coloradokartingtour.com, or reach out to us at Point Karting. We're going to be checking out the season and the action throughout the season. So we're excited to hear from racers and really glad that people are participating at the level that they are.
Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us here in the booth, and maybe we'll hear from you at some other point later in the season as well. But for now, I'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of the race, and we'll see you later.
Sounds great. You guys as well.
Man, I tell you what, John, I'm thinking about telling Lee I can't do the rest of the broadcast because I gotta enter this series so I can try and win those awesome prizes.
You're gonna leave me be.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean, what a tremendous prize pack though from Point Karting. That's really
absolutely
awesome.
That is a. I know now everyone wants to sign up. That is a great idea. And thank you to Eric for joining us.
Yeah, really great to have him in the booth. It kind of gives you maybe an indication on why the level of participation is where it is. Certainly, I have to imagine that's going to help drive turnout. But obviously, I think some people just probably watched the league last time they were on Apex Racing TV and thought it looked like a lot of fun because it. I have to say, it really was watching it from the booth. And, we've seen some great racing so far today. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice a little bit. That is James in the BMW getting wide, and he's going to lose a spot to Danny Lopez there. Yeah, so Mike James just, we had the camera on. That's the worst time to make a mistake is while the camera is on.
The commentator's curse has happened.
That's really the producer's curse, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. The broadcaster's curse.
Yeah, poor Mike James. But yeah, we'll change it to the leader. Maybe Lawrence Zavidal will make a mistake here and give Michael Keltner a chance to fight for a race win. Because at the moment, Lawrence is quite a ways up the road once again. I think he finished race 1 with about a 6-second gap.
Yeah.
And he's almost got that much 10 minutes here into race number 2.
And just went fastest lap with a 1:28.05. So
that's the one thing I've noticed about the Porsche among the GT4s is it really just, normally it's the kind of downforce cars like the LMP2, you see them where as the fuel burns off, they just go faster and faster. But the Porsche seems to be one of those as well. It kind of hits a hump in the middle of the stint where the tire wear overcomes the fuel a bit, but then you burn some more fuel off and you go even quicker. Oh, there's contact in the Andretti hairpin.
Oh!
3 Porsches involved. I saw Weber, Pradhan, Holubar, and Botnick, so maybe 4 cars involved. I saw Pradhan dropping down a couple of places, but he might have just been held up. I think it was Botnick, Weber, and Holubar. So it was Botnick who ran wide.
And then
Holubar came in with a head of steam, and it's really tough with a double apex corner like that because if you're Rob Holubar, you're committed to your braking zone at that point. You can't pull it tighter. You know, you're already at the limit of,
you've already
of what
committed
the brakes
to it.
will allow. Exactly.
And
Holubar.
So no, go ahead.
Oh, so I was just saying, you know, for Holubar, you know, he'll probably feel bad there because, you know, you never want to initiate contact, but that's a situation where you're at your limit already and there's nothing you can really do except hope that the driver ahead of you doesn't cut in.
And Holubar's run really well in this feature race. He's, climbed up 13 spots from where he started, so he's done a great job so far.
Yeah, Rob's one of the returning drivers as well. We saw last season he had some decent pace, and we saw in race number 1 he had some decent pace. He was, I think, fighting in the top 10 when he had that contact with Walker that brought him down the pit lane. So could well be that Rob is a little out of position and working his way back forward here as he continues to climb back up. Obviously that incident won't help, but he's trying to move a little bit more forward.
Take a look at this battle here for 8th and 9th spot with Daniel Lopez and Mike James. They're running pretty closely to one another for most of the race here.
Yeah, obviously we saw James make that mistake when we last had the camera on him, but he's putting the pressure on Danny Lopez here. Clearly got some pace in that BMW. Not too many BMWs in the field. We saw some of them running well. Obviously, Jeremy Davis was up there in the top 10. We've got Mike James up in the top 10 as well, but definitely the least popular of the cars, and I get that. I've sampled all of the GT4s for a decent amount of time. A little late on the brakes there for James, but gets it woed up. It's definitely the how do I put this? It's the car that is least likely to agree with you, where I think if it fits your driving style, you can really get the most out of it, but it takes a certain kind of driver to find the pace out of it. I've got a teammate who absolutely can wring the neck of the BMW. He's quicker than me, and he knows how to get the most out of that, but for me, the Porsche just suits me a little bit better. It feels a bit more natural to drive, but if you come to terms with that BMW, you can definitely get some pace out of it. Mike James has clearly got some pace in hand over Danny Lopez at the moment.
Yeah, he's trying to make the move inside. Just not close enough.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about Laguna Seca, isn't it? There's just not a ton of places to really affect a pass. The Andretti hairpin is obviously your best chance. The corkscrew if you're brave. And outside of that, the final corner is really the only other place where you can fully outbrake somebody.
Right. It's all about really getting a really good run right around here. Try to set yourself up for that front straight.
Well, you said it there. It's really the key. It's one of those tracks that really places value on drivers who can set up a pass. You know, the ones who know how to put something together, run the kind of offline that gets you the run down the straight to make the pass happen into the passing zone. You know, there's some cars that are just long straights into hairpins, and there's no art to setting up the passes. We got a 3-car battle here. This is Ross, Malsum, and Schneebel. You get all the different manufacturers of GT4 right in there. But, you know, the kind of, I guess, modern F1 style of circuit where it's just long straight to hairpin, and that's your passing opportunities. I prefer the kind of American style, as Ross is late on the brakes in the BMW and goes a little bit wide, opening the door for Schneibel, but not quite there to complete the pass. But to finish the point, you know, Laguna Seca is one of those tracks. There's plenty of others too, where you really have to think about, you know, where you're going to make a pass happen and how you can set it up.
Yeah, we were at we were doing a series broadcast at Summit Point earlier today, which is, you know, similar. We have to kind of, you only have certain points on that track to pass, so it's about setting yourself up and also how you manage traffic as well as you get further into the race.
Yeah, and these 30-minute races, you have to believe the leaders are going to face a fair bit of traffic, as that was Ross going well wide, and he's now lost that spot not only to Malsum but to Schneibel as well. So that is a couple positions down for Ross. But yeah, Summit Point's a good example of that. Barber, I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite tracks in the world. That is a great track for really having to think a few corners ahead as to what you're going to do. It's yeah, that kind of American club circuit style that really
yes, that's the best way to put it.
And it really suits these cars as well, the GT4s. They're just the right kind of size and speed, as we see Kenny Schmid getting a little wide there. Kenny's done a little bit better this race, knocking on the door of a podium if he can catch Rob Hubrechts. But man, last season, wasn't it just the story of if Kenny Schmid can catch Rob Hubrechts, that more often than not, he did not. So we'll see if Kenny's got a little more pace in the bag in the Porsche. Obviously, he's got some experience.
Kenny's getting some pressure right now with Kelderman. Kelderman's kind of really caught up to him in the past, you know, lap or two.
Yeah, Kelderman did kind of hang on to that McLaren train in race number 1 that was Kellner, Hubrechts, and Kelderman. So maybe being held up just a little bit here by Kenny Schmid, but I don't think Kenny's slowing him down all that much. They're really doing times pretty similar to the cars ahead within a tenth or two. So all still on a pretty level field here from second on back. It's really just Lawrence Zavadil who is stomping the field.
Who just set the fastest lap. Again.
Yes, he did in the 27s, which nobody in the field has even sniffed at some point in this race. So
no one's
clearly.
Yeah, just look at our timing tower. No one's even sniffed the 128s.
On the last lap, I think best lap.
No, I was looking at last lap.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so best lap, we've had a few drivers dip into the 28s, but that was earlier on in the stint. We did mention, you know, the Porsche hangs on to its tires quite well, and clearly Zavadil in the Porsche is managing to keep putting in good laps where some of the McLarens behind are not. Here we see a battle after his rough first lap. Armand Gevorkian trying to work his way back forward. Armand, another one of those returning drivers. We saw him in quite a few races last season. Don't know that he did the full calendar. Ooh, as that's Botnick going wide ahead of him. And there was another car off there. Was that Brock Mays?
I believe it was. Let's take a look.
So I saw Botnick going wide, and then suddenly
we went to the in-car. So here's Mays.
Oh, he's just completely overcooked it.
And then
Botnick goes wide. You expect to see a blue Porsche appear in the windshield, and then it's a green Porsche. So yeah, that was a bit of a hairy moment for Armand Gevorkian, but he's now 2 places further up than he was.
At the corkscrew of all places, too.
Yeah.
Probably the one place on this track you don't want that to happen.
There are a few corners in racing where you get more unsighted than that. So yeah, but here we see Mike James, the leading BMW in P9. He's kind of dropped off the back of Danny Lopez a bit and has come under pressure from Mike Weber, who has had a bit of contact in this race, but continuing on in the top 10.
Weber with that hanging driver's side mirror.
The telltale sign of earlier contact. Well, that's a great camera angle. Yep. Just,
there it is.
What a view of that mirror just dangling there. Good tether.
Oh,
Oh, and
no.
that's James spinning off.
He
Another producer's curse there.
No. I don't think they're
Poor
gonna
James
ask me. I don't think they're gonna ask me back, Tyler.
He's gonna be begging you to keep the cameras off of him. He's got broken right front now. That's he's gonna have to take that back to the pits. But unfortunate there for James, and that is the last of the BMWs in the top 10 now to meet their fate. So it is the resurging Suraj Pradhan who has made his way back into the top 10. Obviously finished 5th in race number 1, but has had that early contact or spin. I don't remember which it was. Looks like the nose of that McLaren's a little bent out of shape, but he is.
I think he was caught up in someone else's issue, if I remember correctly. We've had a few things happen.
Yeah, have had a few of those, but definitely has put on a charge to get back into the top 10. I think he can definitely be a force in this series if he turns up on a regular basis. Quite a few of those new drivers that we've seen. Don't think we saw Suraj at all last season. Same with Lawrence Zavadil, Michael Keltner, Ezra Kelderman, Brandon Walker, all those drivers in the top 10. We didn't see Michael Herring. I don't remember seeing last season either. So those guys trying to make a statement and make a name for themselves in season 2 on Apex Racing TV of the Colorado Karting Tour.
What's really going to be really interesting to watch, Tyler, is there's a lot of drivers here with different, licenses, iRatings. It's a real mix of guys. For example, just looking at iRatings here, Walker Scott is 705. Then you go up to Lawrence Zavadil, who's a 3721. You have guys, Gavorkian, who's a 1342. So a lot of real mix of iRatings, which could create a lot of interesting battles and things that go on throughout this series.
Well, and not only do they have different iRacing skill levels and real-world experience levels, we've got a whole host of different ages as well.
Yes.
Last season, we talked a few times with Cadence Presley, who I believe was 10 or 11 at the time. I think he's probably 11 or 12 now, but Cadence is a young guy. I know we were talking about Tracy earlier. He's a young guy, 13, I think. Then you got some guys who I want to say are more my age, but I feel like I've outgrown that a little bit. But just looking at Walker in 6th, he's 21. Some of the older drivers don't put their age in the bio, which is fair enough, but I think we've got a pretty nice spread of drivers.
More experienced, seasoned drivers.
Yes. Yeah. More experienced is the fair way to put it, of course. But then you've got guys like Cadence, who is, 11 or 12 years old. He's already got at least a couple of seasons of karts under his belt. So, you want to talk about experience. Age is not the end-all be-all there.
For sure. Going back to this battle for 4th and 5th with Kenny Schmid and Kelderman. They've been... Ezra's kind of been on Kenny's bumper for the past... Oh! You got to spin in front!
Oh, no.
Kenny, hold on to it.
Kenny. He does.
Great job.
I don't think he made contact with the spinning car, but he does let Kelderman through there. But that was good damage control there from Kenny Schmid. That could have been a whole lot worse.
It's right on board with Kenny.
Oh, jeez. That is some masterful reaction time there from Kenny Schmid. I didn't catch who the spinning car was. It was one of our lap down McLarens. Not quite sure who, but anyway, good on Kenny to get through there, but now has to set his sights on Kelderman, who is actually being held up by another lapped car there.
And that's a tough one because it's which way do you go or what do you do? Because the spin was literally like kind of taking up most of the road. So do I jump on the dirt? Do I vert to the right? I mean, So,
And
great job by
you don't
Kenny.
know
He
which
held on
way-
to it.
Yeah, you don't know which way the car is going to roll, because some guys will slam on the brakes and just kind of slide where they are. Some will let off and roll backwards, or they'll try and get on the throttle to save it and roll forwards. It can be really tricky to predict, and I think Kenny definitely made the right call there. He doesn't have a ton of time to chase back down Kelderman, but he has closed that gap a little bit. It was up over 2 seconds now, down to just about 1.5 seconds or so.
Yeah, we had that. Yeah, we had a similar situation at a SRF race in Mosport a few weeks ago in another series where lap guy spun and let go of the brake, and our overall leader just drove right into him. You know, nothing he could do. So
yeah, it's just a tough situation. You know, there's just not a whole lot you can do other than make your best guess and hope you're right. A little wide there from our race leader. It doesn't really need to be pushing that hard with a 12.5 second gap to Keltner in second. I'm impressed by the job Keltner has done to hold off our reigning champion Rob Hubrex. Hubrex has kept him in check and kept him close, but hasn't really been able to make his way through or even get close enough to kind of put the burners on under Keltner.
no, these two guys have run really solid races. Overall, you know, our top three have, you know, been super consistent. Zavadil's been in a class of his own, but Keltner and Hubrex have run really, really well. It's just Zavadil says it's just his day.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that carries over. I know Laguna Seca can be a strong track for the Porsche. We'll see if that carries over to some maybe McLaren favored tracks, but for now maybe it's just a track that clicks with Zavadil, but it doesn't look like anyone can touch him here. Want to give a thanks to those contributing on the YouTube chat for Apex Racing TV. I see Nick Olson and Jacob Doe have both voiced support for Mike J. And mentioned your commentator's curse as well. But good to have some participation. I know we're coming across on a whole bunch of Colorado Karting Tours channels as well, but I only have the chat for our Apex Racing TV YouTube channel. So if you want to hop over here and show your support and get involved, we're happy to have you. Otherwise, you can definitely keep watching on your preferred viewing method. But winding down, I think it's going to be 2 more laps for Zavadil. It's going to be pretty tight, but I think we're going to get 2 more here.
Yeah, I think you're correct. My math is not great by any stretch of the imagination, but I think we're going to have 2 to go, and we might have a nice little battle here for second place.
Yeah, I mentioned that, you know, Keltner had really been keeping Hubrex at arm's length, but just like that, it's closed up a little bit. A little bit of curb there for Keltner, and Hubrex now closing in once again. Yeah, there you see almost half a second taken out that last lap, so maybe a mistake somewhere that I didn't notice from Keltner, but Hubrex is really on a charge here with 2 to go.
So we're right on board with Hubrex, gonna head down the corkscrew.
Rob is one of the point karting drivers, so he'll definitely be, I'm sure, supportive of their efforts in supporting the series. Well, that's a late braking maneuver there from Hubrex, but that lap car, I think, meant he couldn't get all he wanted to out of that exit.
Yeah, I think that lap car kind of threw him off just a tad.
He was trying to get out of the way, which is, you know, always appreciated, but as both of those drivers run their fastest lap of the race, 28.637, 28.630, it is definitely on between these two, but I just don't know that Rob's going to have an overtaking opportunity. He hasn't quite been able to get close enough, as there's a BMW off there, I think.
Yeah, just watching this battle, it's where can Hubrex make a move? Because it looks like he is a little bit faster watching that in-car last lap. He looked like he was a tad faster at certain points than Keltner, so.
Yeah, it seems maybe as though he's just saved his stuff a little bit better than Keltner, been a little easier on the tires. The corkscrew's one of those few overtaking opportunities we've mentioned, but I don't know if he's close.
He's close.
He's late on the brakes again, trying to stick his nose around the outside. As we'll cut back to Zavadil, who will round the final corner and take the checkered flag. Wait to see the results of Keltner and Hubrecht's battle. They're still nose to tail. Does Hubrecht make a lunge here? Doesn't look like he's gonna get it done. He can try the crossover, but not really enough power in these GT4 cars to make that move stick. And Keltner will grab P2 once again in race 2. And Hubrecht will settle for a 3rd place. Got a couple BMWs here who managed to get their way back into the back half of the top 10. Both Corey Ross and Jeremy Davis with a nice recovery. I think there must have been some chaos going on while we were watching that Keltner-Hubrecht battle, because things have really shaken up from kind of 5th on back. Walker moved his way up to 5th. Something happened to Kenny Schmid as he's ended up 1 lap down in 11th. Danny Lopez, Suraj Pradhan recovered to 7th. That's a pretty impressive run from him. Mark Malsum up to 8th, and then the two
take a look and see what happened to Kenny here.
BMW. Let's replay, but you let us know what happened.
Here's Kenny right here. Must have been post-race. No.
And once everybody's across, we will get those results up for you and hopefully have a good host of drivers to talk to.
Here come our results. Nope, we want the feature.
There we go. The winner looks the same, so I almost started reading. Lawrence Zavadil is your race winner with the clean sweep. Pole, Heat 1, feature race. Doesn't get more dominant than that. Michael Keltner comes home in 2nd. Rob Hubrecht, who's very familiar with the weekend sweep, comes home in 3rd. Ezra Kelderman brings it home 4th. Brandon Walker 5th. Danny Lopez in 6th. Suraj Pradhan in 7th. Mark Malsum 8th. Corey Ross in 9th. And Jeremy Davis recovers to round out the top 10. Behind them, Kenny Schmid brings it home 11th. Michael Herring in 12th. Brian Bruzzi in 13th. Mike Weber 14th. Armand Govorkian rounds out the top 15. Behind them were Mike James, Aaron Botnick, John Schneibel. All these guys had some trouble there. And then Austin Chalman, Zach Peterson, Mark Sherman, Dustin Wayman, Tracy Scott, Rob Holubar, Michael Genevics, Shay Wright, Brock Mays, Tyler Green, Cadence Presley, and Ben Jelly did not take the start of race 2. I saw Brock Mays was also in our YouTube chat thanking us for catching both of his wrecks. We do our best to catch everybody's wreck, but sorry, Brock, that we happen to get both of yours. I think we've got our race winner. Lawrence Zavadil, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're a little quiet, but we've got you just fine. First of all, am I saying your last name right? Because we had a little debate at the start.
It's Zavadil.
All right, cool. I think that's what I was saying. But, well, it doesn't get much more dominant than that. A pole, a heat win, a feature win. It didn't seem like anyone could really touch you out there.
Yeah, I just kind of went out there and tried to race my own race. I've been on iRacing for a few years, so just had a lot of practice and just kind of wanted to go out there and have fun, just drive really smooth, try to avoid going off track as much as I possibly could. But I really wanted to give a big shout out to RM Solo. It's Rocky Mountain Online Racing League. Basically, and they do great work. Me and Michael Keltner are both in there, and shout out to my my family. that I'm pretty sure is watching. But yeah.
Well, awesome. We, you know, you're a new name to the series. We obviously hosted the series last season on Apex Racing TV here, but certainly we saw last season that there was quite a variety of both real and virtual world experience levels. You say you're experienced iRacer. Have you driven the GT4s much, or just an iRacing generalist?
I actually mostly stick with the Porsche Cup car, the 992, and previously the 991. Just trying to potentially at some point maybe qualify for the Super Cup, but that's a far out dream yet. But we're working towards it.
It's good to have goals for sure, and I have to believe the GT4 car must feel a bit placid coming from the certainly the 991. I haven't driven the 992 much, but for sure. And as far as real world experience goes, what sort of background do you have, and how is that helping you out here in the virtual world?
Real world experience. I mean, I've raced motocross in the past. I was third in state in a 50cc class when I was young as a kid. So I kind of got used to flinging around the rear tire on a motorcycle in the dirt, which is a little bit different than a car, but it's a little bit harder in my opinion. But from there, I really just got into car racing from working at a racetrack, High Plains Raceway in Colorado. And I've got myself a few open lapping days out there, but I currently am building a spec Miata that should be ready next year, and hopefully I'll be out with NASA racing with those guys in spec Miata.
Well, that is awesome, Lawrence, and we're glad to have you here on Apex Racing TV in the Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series. Although I think some of your competitors might not be so glad, but we'll see if the field can figure something out and close that gap in the next couple races. I know you already got through a bunch of shout-outs, but before we let you go, is there anyone else you missed that you want to give a shout-out to?
No, I can't think of anybody else.
Well, fantastic, Lawrence. Thanks so much for joining us in the booth here, and congratulations on the clean sweep. And, hopefully we'll see you next time out.
Thank you much. I will.
Awesome. That is Lawrence Zavadil, everybody. And I will bring next. Oh, we've got two drivers who finished second and third. And
must go in order.
Let's grab another new guy. Oh, hold on. My grabbing was broken temporarily. Another new driver to the series with a couple of podiums under his belt already. Michael Keltner, are you there?
Yeah, hey guys.
Well, Michael, it was we heard that you had done some racing before with Lawrence Zavadil, so maybe it wasn't too much of a surprise to you the thrashing he kind of put on the field, but a couple of solid podiums there for you. How were those races for you?
It was kind of intense. Doing full 30-minute stints in a motion rig definitely makes you feel the race a lot more than sitting in a fixed rig. So I'm sweating trying to catch my breath here.
Well, for sure, I have to imagine it would. But you are, as we mentioned, another new name to the series. How'd you find the first, albeit non-points race of the Colorado Karting Tour?
I really liked it. This was actually my first introduction to GT4. I haven't done GT4 before this, and actually we had about 7 of our autocross buddies, Lawrence included, that joined in this race, and we thought it was really great. A lot of action in the midfield, and just the top 5, just consistent lap after lap. So I was just really happy to see the competition.
It being your first run in a GT4 is the kind of thing you can't say after finishing second. you want to sound humble, but no, that obviously an impressive performance, and I think clearly you've done some of this iRacing stuff before. What first round of the year? It's fun to ask what's your iRacing experience like? What's your real world racing experience like? What do you bring to the table as far as your background?
I do vintage racing. I do a lot of SCCA autocross time trial stuff with my 1974 Datsun 260Z. So it's a little bit more of the old school, so no electronics or any real aids. So it's definitely a harder car to handle. But I do a lot of autocross with a bunch of buddies of mine that were in this race as well. And I've been doing that for about 4 years. And then with iRacing, I've been doing it for about 2 years. I got into iRacing and sim racing in general, not too long ago. So it's definitely been a chance to learn all the different platforms, especially iRacing. And I'm just so blown away with the amount of competition in iRacing. Just the pool of players, every single racer just seems to be so fast, so consistent. And I mean, I'm only racing around, 1800, 2K iRating, so nothing super fancy. Just trying to learn the ropes and climb the ladder.
Well, that's awesome. I love to always love to hear the merging of the real and virtual world. So good to have you. Are you going to be sticking around for the full season, or was this just a one-off?
I think myself and the rest really enjoyed it, and I think we're going to try to make the other races. It's definitely not a hard schedule to make, so yeah, I definitely want to plan on sticking around.
Well, fantastic. In that case, we look forward to seeing you for the remainder of the season. Before we let you go here, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to RM Solo, just showing the way and teaching a lot of people on how to race properly on also in sim as well as in real life. So props to that group for helping organize everyone to participate in this, and props to CKT for putting this together.
Tremendous. Well, thank you for joining us in the booth, Michael Keltner. Congratulations on your double podium, and hopefully we will see you out here next time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
We've got one more interview for you, and it is a returning face to the series. Rob Hubrex, how you doing?
Good. Great to hear you guys again.
Well, Rob, it looks like season 2 has brought you some competition this time.
Oh, it certainly has. But to be honest, I'm really happy to come away with a podium this race. I'm, as we saw last season, I'm definitely more of an open wheel specialist, and I'd never raced a GT4 car ever on iRacing until tonight. And I think I started practicing maybe Friday for this. So to come away with a third place finish is honestly a great success. So I'll work on it. I haven't really been sim racing the past month and a half, I'd say. Been busy moving, and honestly, I've been getting my racing fix with that new Hot Wheels Unleashed game, which, by the way, is super fun, but haven't been on the sim until really this weekend. So all things considered, I'm happy with my results.
You're actually not the first person I've heard with glowing reviews of the Hot Wheels Unleashed, but as far as the sim fix, yeah, I don't think anything can top something like this. But yeah, you're not the first in the booth tonight to say that they haven't really driven the GT4 before. I see you went with the McLaren. So how'd you find it?
Yeah, I really liked it. I have the McLaren and the Porsche purchased. I didn't really bother with the BMW because I don't think it's really my type of car. Just between the two, I really like the McLaren and how it handles oversteer. I found the Porsche was really unforgiving with oversteer, but it's pretty fun to drive. The only issue that I had during the race is late race. The front tires really went away on me, and I had already adjusted brake bias, so I was trying to keep adjusting that down, try and not roast the front tires quite as much. But tire management was definitely an issue, which kind of surprised me because these cars have anti-lock brakes, and that's another thing I'm not used to. But I'll figure it out. But I'm happy with my choice to run the McLaren. It's a fun car.
Awesome. Well, I guess I have to ask the pressing question, which is, what's it going to take to defend your championship?
A lot of practice. Like I said, I don't have a ton of that at this point, so to come away with a result like this with no practice, I think that bodes well. So I'll just have to, run the McLaren some more.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, the usual. Thanks to you guys for putting together this broadcast. It's always awesome to be able to share racing with the world. And thanks to all the non-CKT drivers who showed up tonight. They have a pretty substantial prize to win at the end of the season if they can beat us. So I'm wishing them luck, and I hope to see some of those guys out at the track in real life.
Yeah, we did talk to Eric from Point Karting at the break, and I am mighty impressed by the prize package on offer. I think it's really tremendous. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing if you can bring the fight to those guys. But thanks for joining us in the booth, Rob, and we'll see you the rest of the season, and wish you luck on defending the championship.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that does it for our podium drivers. Actually, that does do it for all our podium drivers, not just the ones who wanted to interview. That was the same drivers on the podium between both races. So, man, John, what a fun start to the season. Obviously not a points-paying round, so we can't have Lawrence resting on his laurels yet because he's got no points to fall back on, but I'm definitely looking forward to another season of this. Are you?
I am, for sure, absolutely. The dress rehearsal is now over, so next time around we get to be live. The stage is set, and also these drivers are still learning these cars. That's one thing I learned in this interview was that, talking to Rob, he's like, this car is ABS. I don't really drive a GT4 that much. I'm a Formula guy, so there's gonna be some drivers who took this race as a learning experience, and I think it's all going to play out as we get to the halfway point of this series, because these guys are going to get more familiar with these cars, and we're going to see some great racing.
I think you're absolutely right. I think we kind of saw that last season as well. There were people who kind of slowly came to grips with the cars, who were kind of figuring out iRacing at the same time. I think it was kind of a learning experience for a lot of guys, and I would be shocked if we didn't see something similar this season, but that remains to be seen. Hopefully we keep getting great turnouts like we did for race number 1. I love the idea from Point Karting to offer prizes to, if you can beat the CKT guy, you get to join CKT basically, which is pretty cool.
You get it kind of also creates a rivalry of the non-CKT versus the CKT guys too. So it's a fun storyline throughout the season.
Yeah, we're certainly going to have to keep an eye on that, but that'll do it for today's practice round, if you will. But that is far from all of the action we have coming your way on Apex Racing TV this week. First up is the IndyCar Open Series, which is coming your way tomorrow night if you're here in the U.S., or very early Tuesday morning if you're somewhere east of the U.S. That is the official series, official IndyCar top split, and that is coming your way at 12 UTC from Montreal. We've also got the GT3 AM Series, the Apex Racing League GT3 AM Series, that is. Round 4 from the Hungaroring, coming your way Tuesday night in the UK and Europe area, and Tuesday afternoon elsewhere. Then it's the Radical Racing Challenge on Friday the 12th, evening Europe, afternoon US. That is going to be at Road Atlanta. I think you're going to see a lot of Road Atlanta coming up. We've got the Finding Speed GT3 League from Suzuka International Racing Course. That is coming your way on Saturday, November 13th, evening Europe, afternoon US. Also on Saturday, we've got the Formula 3.5 Championship. That is, once again, evening Europe, afternoon US from the Red Bull Ring. Then on Sunday, we've got the SRF Weekend Warrior from Zandvoort. That'll be a fun one for sure. Those guys always get a nice turnout and put on a good show. Also next Sunday, we've got the continuation of IGP Fun, round 8 from Spa-Francorchamps. Oh, sorry. No, that's round 9 at Zandvoort. Wrong thumbnail there. And then it all comes back around.
There's a lot going on.
The IndyCar Series Monday night after that. So that's the week ahead on Apex Racing TV. And if you're wondering where you can watch it, well, if you're already on our YouTube channel, you're in the right place. That is youtube.com Apex Racing TV. If you're elsewhere, that's where you want to look. Also, make sure you follow us on our social media channels. We're on all of the major social medias. So whichever is your favorite, just look for Apex Racing TV and give us a follow. You won't miss a race, and you'll get to see some great highlights from all of the series we have here on Apex. But that'll be it for now from Laguna Seca for the Colorado Karting Tour Winter Series. Really excited to get this one going once again. I was kind of counting down the days. So for Jonathan Grabowski, I've been Tyler Newitt here on Apex Racing TV. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.